Aloha! Hey, it's Julie Ziemelis, 365 Hawaii and 365 team on Real Broker. And I am here with
Amber Haley from East Hawaii with Real Broker.
And we are here to give you the East Hawaii real estate market update for April 2024. And the good news is that we've got a lot going on, including things that are happening actually in East Hawaii, like Mary Monarch.
Yeah, it's
right?
a big week over in East Hawaii.
Right. So when we get finished with the report, maybe you can give a little bit about kind of like, what's that feel like? What's it like? What's the story? What's it about? That way people who are going to move to East Hawaii need to know what Mary Monarch is.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So let's get going with what's going on with the market over there. What's up?
Okay, so we're going to talk about some stats first, and then we'll talk about some little tips and stuff for buyers, and maybe some of the differences between East and West Hawaii.
Oh,
and the
that's
different things that we've been seeing.
There you go.
All right, so let's first start with probably what most people want to know, what does it cost to buy a house over in East Hawaii? What in the world? So the statistics that we usually go over are median sales price. Now, keep in mind, we have a wide range of prices in East Hawaii, and they're all, in general, a lot lower than over here on the west side. So if you're looking, half or less even. Our median value is less than yours in North Kona, at least.
Okay.
So it's a great place to buy a house if you're looking for affordable real estate in the state of Hawaii. There are two districts that I think most people should probably take a look at and see if it's a fit for you, and that's the South Hilo district and the Puna district. And there's a lot more inventory on that side of the island than the west side of the island. So we're going to jump into the median home value right now in the Puna district, which is for the whole last month of sales that we have on our MLS, $365,000.
Okay.
That's about that's like almost $1 million less.
I know, right?
The North Kona
basically
district
can't get anything for that price here in West Hawaii.
Yeah. Yes, and we have a lot of single-family homes for sale in the Puna district. We also have a lot of vacant land. I get a lot of inquiries from buyers interested in buying vacant land, and you can actually buy a parcel of land for, there was a listing that I just wrote an offer on, but it sold really fast before we even got our offer in, but for $14,000.
Wow. For how much
in
land?
Lava Zone 2, it was maybe a quarter acre at most. So small Lava Zone 2, but that was the lowest one I had seen in that subdivision in a while. So we've got, when I say affordable,
$14,000.
I mean cheaper than you can buy a used car.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So yes, very, very affordable. Now, like I always point out, every single month we have a lot of different lava zones in the Puna district specifically. So it's worth mentioning that lava zones 1 and 2, you're going to see those lower price points, like a $14,000 lot or newer construction or maybe a beautiful single family home that is a lot less money than you will find in the less risky lava zones, because the real estate is just not as valuable due to lava hazard and lava risk and all of that. So if you are looking in like the northern Puna district, for example, in a Lava Zone 3 neighborhood, the newer construction homes, those are more in the, in HPP, they've been more in the 600 and 700,000. Wow. And in Aina Loa, which has a slightly lower price point, lower lot size, they have been in the 3 and 400s. There you go. So that's still, all higher than the median value of $365,000. So I do like to point that out as well. And then, one of the things that you and I have been talking about a lot and that we talked about on the island-wide market update that we had last was the insurance issue.
Right,
so that's still a thing in Lava Zones 1 and 2.
Right. Well, now get this. When you first started bringing it up, it was like, oh, isn't that sad? You guys are having such a hard time. Wah, wah. And then it turned into a whole statewide problem for every single person that owns a piece of property.
It is. It's a problem. And it's a problem like in other states, too. So this is just something that homeowners are going to have to battle. And it's something that you're going to want to factor in when you are picking out a location of a property and when you're budgeting, too. Because for a lot of people, it comes down to monthly payment, not really the price of the home.
Right. And then when Eric said that he saw that there was $8,000 a month for a home in Lava Zone 2 when you get the insurance for the lava experience. Now, also, the insurance companies are basically pulling out of the market because of the fact that they have just been overwhelmed with billions of dollars of losses around the country. And then what happened with Lahaina, they kind of like started saying, okay, Hawaii, you're expensive too. We have to replace things because of fire or whatever. And so when the complexes down here that our family member lives in, she just got notification from her HOA that their HOA fees have to go up because the insurance company is bringing money in. So, I mean, taking, the premiums are going up.
Yeah.
Right. And so then I saw people in Oahu saying that they're just getting letters saying basically that they're going to get their, not just cancel, what's it called? Non-renewal of their insurance. So when they start going like, well, what's going to happen then if I have a mortgage and now I can't get insurance?
It's a problem, and that's really hard if the rug is pulled out from under you.
Right.
So that's something to keep in mind. Just because certain policies are issuing right now in insurance providers, that doesn't mean that they're not going to change in the future and down the road, especially if we have volcanic activity or more natural disasters and those kinds of things. So it is a huge issue. Right. Another thing kind of top of mind for me that I ran into with a client very recently is there are some people who use their home as a business, and you can get, non-conforming use permits from the county to do that. But she was unable to get one, it looks like, for Lava Zone 2. Oh. And that's what her price point is. So she's having to, look at all these different options. So it's not only just your homeowner's insurance, but, if you're looking for more than just a home, maybe like a business, that's also something to keep in mind.
Okay. I mean, that is, because a lot of people want to work from home.
Yeah. And the latest that I've heard, and again, depending on when you watch this video, this could change, is that, Lava Zone 2, there are additional providers issuing policies as a second home, but not as your primary residence. So it's still just the statewide one that people can definitely get up to $450,000. But yes, it's a tough issue. So that is why the price points are so much lower in those zones.
Yeah.
Also, like we always talk about, it's harder to finance. So she can't always get a mortgage.
Right.
In the riskier zones, not everyone will qualify because they usually have to reformat the loan, or a lot of underwriters just won't lend in a risky lava hazard zone. Right.
And some people have decided to go without insurance, right? And so that, if you're spending, let's say, because we just saw an interesting little house that was kind of like off-grid for $179,000 in Puna. An acre, little cute little house. And this woman said, well, I'm going to need to get a loan on that. And I'm like, oh, it's unpermitted. It's in the lava zone. I'm like, you're going to have to pay cash for that.
Yeah.
And but then when you're thinking about, I just pay cash for this place, then something happens where it erupts and you lost that space. Do you have $200,000 to walk away from?
You lit that money on fire.
Right, you did. So that's just something to consider.
Yeah, huge things to consider. So $365,000, really affordable. We kind of talked about the reasons why. That's up a little bit from last month where it was $352,000. Okay. And so, the market's a little bit up. The days on market are sitting at about 45 days in Puna.
Okay.
And that is down a little bit from what we have been seeing. So things are moving a little bit faster. Could be spring market. We might still keep seeing that. We'll see. So that's kind of what's going on in the Puna district right now. And let's talk about South Hilo. So South Hilo is where Hilo town is, Hilo proper, the bayfront. Most of the inventory on in the Hilo districts. We don't usually mention that much about North Hilo because there's hardly any trading up there. But South Hilo, a very popular place. The median value for the whole last month of sales was $607,500. So again, Hilo also has a wide range. There is some newer construction, and a lot of that is actually at a pretty high price point. Over $1 million is not uncommon for some of those newer construction neighborhoods. And then there's kind of the older homes in really, really popular parts of Hilo, though.
Give us some names of popular parts of Hilo.
Well, I find a lot of people if they want to live like close to town, convenient to like the beach parks, or a lot of people like, there's a lot of doctors, and there's not that many jobs in Hilo, so it's pretty much like university, medical, that kind of thing. So the areas by the Hilo Medical Center, I found a lot of clients are really drawn to the school districts and the Hilo golf course, like all the neighborhoods, and they have all these different names because they're kind of like tiny little subdivisions. But that area is really, really popular, and there's not that much inventory that ever pops up there. So that is a really, really popular place to live. So you can get, that is still like pretty affordable, our median home value that we are talking about in Hilo, but it does seem to go up and up and up in Hilo. And Hilo is a really locally, populated area. So affordability is really an issue there. And so there are a lot of people who do relocate like down to the Puna district because of that.
Because you get forced out of the Hilo area.
Yeah, Hilo, $607,000 is a lot higher than $365,000.
Especially like wasn't it like 500 and something just a few months ago?
Yeah, so if we're looking at 547. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like Hilo, we don't have I'm basing this off of the last full month of sales that we have.
Right.
So
and
we
that
don't
could
have
be
that
14
many.
sales or something. Yeah.
So this is just kind of, we take little snapshots of the market and then we kind of piece it together throughout the year to see larger trends.
There you go.
But Hilo is also 45 days on market right now, which is actually a little bit weirdly longer than the month before. But yeah, that's about how long things are sitting. And that is a good number to know. It's good to know days on market, because if you are a buyer sitting at home, maybe scrolling listings on the internet, and you want to look for that days on market, because that is going to tell you how much negotiating power you have on that price. Usually.
Yeah. On the other side, we have a condo. It's just down the street over here, and it's not moving. And a lot of the sellers, including ours and other people in the thing, are just like this. You know what? This is what my house is worth, and I'm not moving.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of seller obstinance going on too.
Yes.
So you want to find people who actually are motivated because they have to get off island or they need to get out for one reason or the other. But I used to think as soon as something's set for more than, let's say, 45 days, that everybody would be like this, sell my house. But that's not always the case.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's a great thing to point out. It's not always just if something is priced right and days on market, because if a seller is not motivated, it doesn't really matter.
They're like, I know my price. I'm not going to move.
It doesn't really
and you know
matter.
what's interesting, though? Eventually that house sells.
Yeah.
Somebody will finally say, let me go see that because there's not much else out there or whatever. And then maybe they can like say, okay, I can see why this is like, more, it's more valuable or whatever. But I was surprised because there was a neighborhood in Hilo, Papeiko.
Pavekeo, yeah.
Is that what's, yeah. And we were telling people to go look, and we didn't know how popular that neighborhood was. And they go, do you think it's worth it? And we're like, and then like with it was like multiple offers. And then we found out later that was a very popular neighborhood that has some beautiful things. And so that's another reason why I say refer to the people who are neighborhood experts. And that's the reason why when you say, hey, could you sell me a house in East Hawaii? I say, you know what? I love you. I can give you all kinds of information, but you have to go to neighborhood experts because they know the neighborhoods that are popular and are able to give you ideas and insights in terms of going after those houses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the thing with Hilo and then even up, the Hamakua coast and the North Hilo district, there is just the fact that there's not that much inventory. Yes, the price points can get higher depending on the type of property, and not everyone can afford that. But the fact that there's not that much inventory, it's supply and demand. So those listings can go really, really fast. And I'm still like a little surprised, like, wow, that sold for that. But it makes sense when you look at it. There's just nothing that goes on the market there. A lot of these homes, because I was kind of touching on the affordability issue a little bit, I think a lot of it is a lot of the homes stay in families for generation after generation. People don't move. Multi-generational living is a big thing in the state of Hawaii. A lot of it has to do with affordability.
Yeah, they have to stay there.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do. Like, it's hard to make it work in Hawaii. So, for people who aren't some bajillionaire coming here to retire, everyday people like me, like, it's, you can't always afford these really big homes. So yeah, that's one of the things we see, though. The houses do go fast. Hilo is a popular place. A lot of people want to be in Hilo. They don't want to commute from outside where there's more affordable in the the Puna district.
Yeah, and again, if you're thinking about moving, why Hilo? Because it's cute, and they've got great little shops, and they've got great little restaurants, and you've got the Hilo Bayfront, and you've got the parks, and you've got all the beautiful things that Hilo itself has to offer, right?
Yes, Hilo has quite a flavor to it. Like this week, for example, is the Merry Monarch Festival. Right. It's one of the most exciting things that happens in the entire state of Hawaii. Definitely the biggest event in Hilo, biggest event probably on Big Island. I would say it's bigger than Ironman. I know Ironman's like a big thing in front of it. Like Merry Monarch is like such a part of Hawaii.
Yeah, so instead of having athletes running around like they do in West Hawaii, all the people who are practicing hula are over in your side. So tell them a little bit about what is Merry Monarch.
So it is the world's largest hula competition. That's what it is at its core. It's a hula competition. And you can actually watch it live. I believe on the Merry Monarch website, if you type in Merry Monarch to the Google.
Yeah, they have a live stream going.
There's a live stream of it going, but the celebration goes all week. So there are so many people who have flown in, honestly, from all over the world. All over the state, all over the world. And it is a party. There is a parade, there are vendors, there's music. It is just a celebration of culture and life and hula, and it's a really, really, really special thing to be a part of. Not everybody, I don't know exactly how it worked this year, but in years past, like sometimes you had to like get a lottery system to get a ticket to like the main events and stuff. But there is a lot of activity going on, and you can go on the Merry Monarch website to kind of see the schedule of events. But every single day this week is a celebration and a party over in Hilo.
Yeah, we went last year. We got a chance to get some shopping in, and I was able to buy some tank tops and t-shirts that had local graphic design. So it was nice to be able to shop local and to get the creativity and artistic from the people who are Hawaiian on the island. So so you again, if you guys are moving to Hawaii, even east side or west side, you should go over there and participate in at least seeing what the whole week has to offer, because you feel like you're really in the culture of Hawaii.
Yeah, it's different than other events that are just like hosted here. We have people coming in. This is a celebration of the island culture, and I've heard people talk about how they've grown up here and watch Merry Monarch every single year since they were a kid, and they know these dancers, and it's just like such a special thing. So yay for this week in Hilo. Like, I can feel the energy from the other side of the island.
Catching it.
Yeah, it's really exciting. But why do people want to live in Hilo? It's really a vibrant place. It is it's got a really great local flavor. It is so green and beautiful, and it is rainy, but it is sunny a lot too. If you've ever been to Hilo Town on a sunny day, like it will take your breath away. It's stunning.
It's stunning, especially when you see the snow on top of Mauna Kea from the bay.
Yes.
It is beautiful. But not to say that Puna doesn't have its own little experiences. It's just that people who like to be near, like the hospitals, the schools, the shopping, all the fun, like to be close to Hilo. Yeah. So that way I just want, if sometimes people jump in here, like we have a couple people lately who said, I've never been to Hawaii Island, and I know that I can afford to live in East Hawaii. Tell me a little bit about it. So that's why we're kind of giving you guys a little bit more like insights, just in case you're thinking, I really want to move to Hawaii, and yet I can't afford $1 million to spend in Oahu, Maui, or West Hawaii. So.
Yeah, and Puna is a little bit more of like a little bit more remote feeling than Hilo itself. So you do have to commute in. If you have to go to Hilo every day, that is something to keep in mind. But some people like that really, really rural feel. To me, I moved from California, so it all feels pretty remote to me. But I would say Puna has like a more remote, like country agricultural feel.
Yeah,
kind
rural.
Of. Yes, rural. Thank you.
Yeah, rural. There you go. In fact,
I'm looking for.
I'm getting people from, let's say, like Texas, who are like this. I don't care about your cute little shops near me. I want to be alone out in the middle of nowhere, because that's what I like. Okay.
This is a good island for you. If you can find a place to live where you can never see another human again if you want. I can find you one of those.
It's so funny because we're social. It's like I can't imagine being by myself on like 3 acres and going like, hello. But people love that. It's like I always say, there's a butt for every seat on this island.
Yeah, there really is. So we were talking about some of the things that were different about real estate on the east side compared to the west. And it might be kind of helpful for buyers.
Yeah.
If we talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. Because also sometimes, like Eric and I have had people who started on the West Hawaii, but then they wanted to keep their options open and start looking for real estate on East Hawaii too. And so sometimes people are kind of going back and forth trying to figure out what they want. So it might be a good opportunity to say, okay, one of the things I was telling Amber about was the fact that in West Hawaii, our sellers basically ask us to be available for every showing. So we actually have to open the door and we stand there and we kind of like make sure everything's cool. But that's not how it goes on your side.
Yeah, so there's no hard, fast rules about this. If you go to any real estate market in the world, people are going to do things a little bit differently. But I would say in general, it's not as common for the agent who is representing the seller to be present at showing. So if you're just kind of like looking what to expect. Now, if you're shopping in West Hawaii, price points are usually quite a bit higher. So it does kind of make sense. You also have overall less inventory, less buyer pool. Us agents in East Hawaii, we're working. I mean, if you're a busy, successful real estate agent working with multiple clients, even though we like to pretend our clients are the only ones and try and give them that service, we usually have multiple clients. You physically probably cannot be at every showing of your listings and serve your buyers. Like we just, it's, we do a lot of transactions, see a lot more property, we have a lot more inventory, so it's just not as common. Now sometimes the seller does want the listing agent there, the listing agent wants to be there, so we do see it, but it's just not as common. So that's something to expect. But regardless, if you are a buyer, whether you're in East Hawaii or West Hawaii, and you go in a home and tour it, whether that other agent is there or not, there's probably microphones and cameras at this point at most houses. It isn't a bad idea to just kind of keep your
thoughts
feedback,
about the house to
good
yourself.
or bad, good or bad,
Yeah.
to yourself, and maybe like debrief later with your agent.
Yeah, when you're away from the property.
And the reason I say that is because you don't want to show your cards too early.
Yeah.
You want to have some negotiating power.
Yeah, because if
So-
you're like, I would love to have this house, I'll do
Yes,
anything.
yeah.
And then they go, oh, look, she really likes that house, so we're not going to have to negotiate that hard for them.
Yeah, and you
Right.
also don't want to offend the seller. I have had sellers spy on my showings and made comments that, my buyers or their, or their kid or some, something that was said or done. So it's just something to keep in mind that even if the seller's side isn't physically represented, you got to be,
Yeah. In fact, we
Careful.
had a situation one time where the people came in and said the first thing we're going to do is basically tear the house down. And the seller found out about that and didn't sell them the house.
Yeah, see?
So, you got to be careful.
You got to be careful. And then the other thing that you were mentioning is having a home inspection done on your
Right.
latest listing in West Hawaii.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what I just want to give you guys a little bit of something. That it's usually like the way it goes, not only across America, but here in Hawaii. That when you decide to make an offer on the house, you are in escrow, and during that time frame, you get a property inspection. Property inspector comes out and he does a whole list of what's wrong with the house, and he presents it to you. And if the house had not been inspected beforehand, sometimes the seller doesn't know what's wrong with their own home. And then all of a sudden the buyer shows up and says, oh, look, here's a whole laundry list of what's wrong with your house. Let's start negotiating. Let's see what you should have to pay for. And so I think that for the seller's side, that being surprised by the buyer, I'm telling Amber that I'm going to have more of my sellers get those property inspections ahead of time. So that way they can tell the buyers, hey, this is what's wrong with the house. If you want it, this, I was going to tell you right now what's wrong with the house. But we are also discussing that when you negotiate the price the first time to get into the contract, then you find yourself trying to have to deal with seller concessions to help rectify the situations about things that are wrong with the house. And so I was telling Amber that I think that sometimes when people come in and say, as is, then they find big things wrong with the house, like the roof has problems, or if there's termites eating up the house, that sometimes the seller can't just say it's as is, right? So there's parts where if something comes up with a termite report, you have to legally do what the termite company suggests for treatment.
Yeah, and that might not be the case in every state.
Yeah, because that's how it is in Hawaii.
But in Hawaii, yes, whatever they recommend on the report has to be done. Now, you don't have to get a termite report unless it's required for some other reason, like a loan. That's not, that can be negotiated out of the contract. But yes, that is part of it. Whatever comes back. It's also good to note that sellers are required to disclose everything that they know about the property. And so when you get a home inspection and you pay for one, they do have to disclose all of that, which, it can be good to get it out there. And it's also, you're not going to get offers and then go under contract and then have these big surprises later and then have it fall out of contract. So it does really have pros for both the buyer and the seller when there is a home inspection done ahead of time. But I will say, I was telling Julie that it's uncommon in the East Hawaii market for most sellers to get a home inspection done ahead of time. It is done sometimes, but it is probably likely due to we just have a much lower price point. So that is a big reason, you don't see as many people at the showings, and a lot of that work isn't done ahead of time. Now, I have shown property that had some weird things with the boundary line or the home, and they just wanted to get that out, so they had the survey done, they were open about it, they disclosed it. It's very helpful because it doesn't waste everybody's time. But yeah, it's just something to note. It's not usually done. And for all of my buyers, even if there is one done and provided by the seller, I do always recommend that they get their own as well. With somebody that you hired and is representing.
Right. And and again, if home buying 101, just so you guys know, there's the property inspection, there's a termite inspection, and you should probably get the survey. Because there was an instance just recently in East Hawaii where someone didn't get the survey and they built a home on somebody else's property.
Yes. Yes, can you believe that, you guys? So this woman is sitting on the mainland. She bought an empty parcel, planning to come back and put like a retreat center there
for women on it.
For women, she bought it because she loved the natural foliage and the trees and all of this. And then she's been sitting, you know, I think in California or somewhere since the pandemic, waiting to come back. And then she gets a phone call from somebody saying, there has been a mistake and a house was built on your property.
And they
now
cleared
it's all
all
kinds
the
of
land
lawsuits.
too.
It's because this builder skipped getting surveys.
And so he built on the wrong lot. He built a $500,000 house on the wrong lot. And she's like this, no, I'm not going to switch the lot. I like that lot. They don't know what to do. Now it's all tied up in the court system.
I think she's even getting sued.
She's getting sued too because they want the federal judge basically to, or not like a state judge to make a decision what to do next.
Yeah.
So those are the three things I think are really important.
They are.
And also look at your preliminary title report too. There might be encroachments and some strange things in terms of what like maybe things have been built on the property, like fencing and things like that might have crossed over into somebody else's land. So
yeah, and this is a good thing to note. And it kind of ties in too with like where the market's at right now. And we're talking about days on market and properties sitting. We're in a market that I feel like buyers, you do have negotiating power right now. So, you know, 2 years ago, it was very normal for almost every single offer I wrote for us to waive things like termite and survey, which is normally something the seller will pay for, and it's important things. You know, it's not ideal to waive those things when you're investing this amount of money into your future. So now is a good time to get in, get a house, and you got some power. So let's get all of that. If you don't like that kind of hot water heater they have, ask them to
get a new water heater.
Let's change it out.
Ask for a new roof. You know, the sky's the limit in negotiations.
Yeah. So there's some good opportunity, and I think there's the best opportunity for you all right now in East Hawaii. So
yeah, there we go. In fact, we also did a market update. If you guys haven't understood what's going on with the mortgage market, we did a report last week that you guys can take a look at. But for the most part, people thought the rates were going to fall in March, and they didn't. And now the next time that they could cut rates is sometime in June. I've heard the Fed is doing a pivot, which I'm interested in finding out. That I just found out about 20 minutes before the show. So, but the thing is that because the rates have not gone down a lot, this is where the market is right now, where it is kind of stagnant, and it gives buyers a chance to go out there and look, to kind of like, we've had quite a few people on our listing alerts. You can see them looking at the same house every day because they're hoping the price is going to go down so they can jump in.
Yeah.
And sometimes the prices do go down, and as soon as they lower the price, then you get like 3 people going for it. So yeah, but that's kind of what's happening right now with the market too.
Yeah.
And anything else?
Come on, check out Mary Monarch.
That's right.
That's the main thing this week.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, there you go. And learning about the culture of Hawaii is very important before you show up on the island. So dig into some of the interesting stories. I found one about the woman that had won the competition about a year or two ago. They did big documentary on everything she did to prepare for it. It was amazing. I mean, the cultural background and what these girls go through to get to the point where we're on that stage at Mary Monarch is just... It's not only heartwarming, it's just great storytelling, but the culture that goes with it is just, it teaches you a lot about this island.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that there's some valuable information and digging a little bit deeper in that.
Yeah. It's my personal philosophy that if you relocate to Hawaii, it is your obligation to learn about this place, the people, and the culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're going to see a lot of it over in East Hawaii. So,
Yeah.
So people over on our live feed, if there's anybody there who has a question, let us know. Is there anybody who's... Okay, no one's like actually saying questions or whatever. They're just like enjoying this. Okay, thank you.
We've covered everything anyone would ever need to know.
And more. And people over in YouTube land, thank you very much for being part of our experience here. Amber comes to us once a month to do the specific East Hawaii update. She also part of our monthly Zoom meeting, which we do like around the third Thursday of the month. And you guys can jump in and be part of that if you join our Ohana. So you go to 365living.com and you can join the Ohana, and basically you get free resources, you get into some different private Facebook groups, and you get a chance to do some Zooms with our real estate partners, and you get a chance to get invited with links and also access to the live on Facebook, so you can actually ask questions and connect with us directly, which I think is valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we talk about the value that we bring to our buyers, webinars. This is all of the things. So
You don't get any more value than you do with 365 Hawaii.
that's right. And you also you can go join the 365 things that do in Hilo, and also the 365 Hilo newbies group as well. And that gives you some friends. So if you guys again want some more information, we dropped the information down below, so you can contact either one of us. But thank you, Amber, for once again bringing the good stuff to the review here.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you guys.
Yep.
Aloha.
Aloha.